What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to another Review Point podcast, coming to you, of course, from fanboysanonymous.com. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and my target to review for this edition, or I guess you could say the thing that is it for this edition, is Tag, 2018 film. It's a comedy. If you don't know what it is, maybe that's actually the case, because this isn't one of those big release kind of things. You know, normally I tend to do like Marvel movies and Star Wars and stuff like that, so everybody knows what that is, but Tag is a little bit more under the radar. I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown of what the movie is. I will also give a spoiler-free review and then the spoiler review, to a certain extent. This isn't a movie that has a ton of real, depth to it, so it's not like this is going to be a really long review point kind of thing. I'm not going to be breaking down tons and tons of hits and misses and stuff like that, but nevertheless, when we get to the spoiler part, I'll tell you about it. So, essentially, what the Review Point podcast is a breakdown of the hits and the misses, as I just said, the things that I liked, the things I didn't like, so on and so forth like that. And as I mentioned before, not a whole lot of things that I'm really going to discuss one by one. This is going to be more of just a general review. But if you are unaware of what the movie is, it is a film that is partially inspired, at least by true story, of a thing that had happened before. This was an article that had been published many, many years ago, where this group of friends have had the same game of tag that they've been playing since 23 years ago. And somebody took the premise of that, and they said, let's make a movie around it. And let's obviously change a lot of the details around, because this is a group of 10 people or so. That's a lot of people to kind of keep track of. Let's kind of shorten that. Let's make the characters not have to be the people themselves. Let's just make brand new characters out of it. You know, it's essentially just, that's kind of interesting to have the same game playing all this time. Let's make a movie out of that idea. So I don't know what the actual specifics were that they had changed here and there and stuff like that. I'm assuming they kept basically nothing. So if you're a purist and you're the type of person that's like, well, the book needed to be translated to the screen 100%, I don't think that the article is going to be translated 100%. But it follows the story of a reporter that is watching this go down because one of the friends has never been tagged. He is undefeated, the champion of sorts, and he's going to get married. So they're going to track him down at the wedding, or beforehand technically, and they're going to tag him. That's basically what it is. It sounds kind of stupid, but I have to admit, it was pretty funny. And I went to this movie in the sense that I wasn't expecting a whole lot. You know, the trailers for this tell you what you're going to get. So you're not getting some Oscar award-winning type of movie here. You're getting a fun little comedy movie. Definitely not a fun little action movie, but there was quite a bit of action in there. So the trailers that actually show you the action side of things, you get that too. So one of the things that's actually kind of interesting about this is that Jeremy Renner apparently broke his arms during the filming of this, and they had to CGI his arms throughout the whole thing. I didn't notice. I was really kind of paying attention to it, and I couldn't tell. So they did a good enough job with the CGI that I couldn't tell that those arms were fake. Yet at the same time, if you watch Justice League, you can totally tell that there's something off with Henry Cavill's chin. Kind of funny to think about that, right? So the spoiler-free version of this that I'm getting into, just to kind of give a general idea, I liked the movie. I thought that it was funny. I didn't, laugh hysterically. I'm not going to add this to my collection or something that I'll revisit over and over again, but I might watch it again in the future at some point. It was fun. And it's not the type of movie that I think everybody's going to like. It's certainly not the type of movie that's marketed towards everybody. This is more of just like a guy movie kind of a thing. And, obviously women can enjoy it too and stuff like that, but you can even tell that there's a certain level of just only guys are going to see this for the most part. Even when it comes to the women that are supporting characters in here, they're pretty much just underwritten and all that. So, I guess actually there's not a whole lot of spoilers that I really could do in this for the most part. So maybe there isn't going to be spoilers. How about that? The opening scene was a very good way to sell me on the movie with a little Coke can kind of bit. That's not really spoiling a whole lot. It's the very first scene of the movie, and the premise of the movie and stuff. So it's just a good little scene where you establish that Ed Helms is going to get a job specifically to be able to tag John Hamm. And I don't remember the names of the characters all that much. There was like Sable was Hannibal Buress, and Chili was Jake Johnson. Bob Callahan was John Hamm. Jeremy Renner was, I think, Jerry. And I can't remember Ed Helms' character. I was just got out of the fucking movie theater. Whatever it is. That is the group of the 5 main friends. And it's mostly the 4 main friends plus, is it Isla Fisher or Isla Fisher? I think it's Isla. I don't know for sure. I think it's Isla Fisher. Well, Fisher is kind of like the new 5th person, because Jeremy Renner's character is not really in the mix all that much. But out of these 6 main characters, and then there's the reporter, the 6 main ones I really liked a lot. Ed Helms played the same type of character that Ed Helms tends to play a lot. Like, he's he's got a business, he's got a family, that kind of a thing. But he was at least a little bit of the straight man when he needed to be, so that was good. Not always a straight man, though, so that was good, too. John Hamm's character was kind of a pompous asshole, and he played that part to a T. Jake Johnson was like the stoner, and Brian Dennehy was his dad. That was kind of a random thing that just popped up in that one scene. He's the stoner. He's like the fun one more than anybody else. He was my favorite character of the bunch for sure. Hannibal Buress was basically Hannibal Buress, and if you like him, you like him. If you don't like him, maybe you didn't like his character all that much, but I thought that he was fine. I liked pretty much all of his jokes, like his existential crisis kind of stuff. I liked those bits quite a bit. Jeremy Renner's character, he was like the jock and the athletic super spy kind of the bunch, and that was a fun trip to go down when it comes to like the traps that he would set and everything like that. And they did this method of like the action sequences where he's analyzing everything, and it's kind of like Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., so that was actually pretty funny. And Fisher's character was like the psycho wife, but not in a bad way. She was supportive, and she was funny, and there wasn't some kind of contrived, like, we're all just going to have this argument in the 3rd act so that we could be all upset with each other and whatever like that. I hate that trope in movies so much. It's so cliche, and thankfully they didn't really necessarily go down that route. So I liked that she wasn't like mad at Ed Helms' character, or there wasn't like, oh, you're going to ruin my marriage here or something like that. Nope, they just kept it going. It was just, she's supportive, she's fun, she's psycho. She looks exactly the way that she did a bunch of years ago, which is kind of crazy too. So, hey, that's, not going to complain about having somebody who's easy on the eyes on the screen. But unfortunately, the characters that were the other female characters in the mix, they didn't get quite the same positive treatment as Fisher's character. Annabelle Wallace's character, Rebecca Crosby, she's just exposition, and it's a functional role. Like, somebody has to play it, so I was fine with that, but I would have liked to have seen some kind of character traits given to her at some point. But nobody's really watching this movie for the reporter side of the story. She's there for people to explain things and to give that kind of audience point of view of like this perspective of like, you guys are all fucking crazy, like that kind of a thing. Leslie Bibb's character, I'm not supposed to really like, so that's kind of a win, I guess, because I didn't really like her all that much, but I'm not, you're not supposed to really, really like her all that much crazily, and, it's just something to think of. Rashida Jones, she was just there. I have no problems with her, but her character was basically just something for Jake Johnson to have a goal for, and that's a little bit weak, so she got a paycheck. Hey, I can't blame her for doing it. Probably had fun on the set. Probably was a fun person to be around on the set because she seems cool, but her character was just kind of thin. I'm disappointed about one thing. This is the only real miss that I have for the movie. There wasn't any kind of closure with the bar guy. I think his name was Lou. I would have liked to have seen at least one scene, even if it was like a post-credit scene, where they would have like initiated him into the group or something like that. Now that's a spoiler. Sorry. But hey, I don't think anybody's going to complain. If I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you aren't going to see the movie, or it's not the biggest deal in the world. That's my only miss, really. The use of music here and there was kind of interesting. Nothing to complain about there. The characters I liked a lot, as I said. special effects and the action sequences and stuff like that. That was all perfectly fine. And just the basic generic plot. Just a bunch of friends playing this game of tag, and that's how they stay friends. It's exactly what you were pitched. There's no weird changes. There's no like, oh, they marketed this as something that it totally isn't, like Coyote Ugly. I liked it. I would say that if I have to do see it or skip it, hit or miss, I'd say it's more on the hit side, see it. But I know that it's not for everybody. So if you don't see this one and you end up skipping it, you're not skipping too much. It's not like it's the end of the world, and people are going to be talking about this on their AFI top 100 list or anything like that. So, hey, if you want to watch a movie that looks like the type of movie that's advertised on the trailers here, watch it, and I think that you'll enjoy it. So, I think that's it that I have to say about it. Like I said, pretty short review. But I want to know what you guys have to say about it if you've seen it. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. And we'll chat it up a little bit, and talk about some other points in the movie and stuff like that if you want to. In the meantime, I'm going to head out. Thank you for listening to this, everybody. And if you want to show your support for Fanboys Anonymous and all the other kind of stuff like that in the future, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. Number one is by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking that little bell icon for the notifications for different videos that are going to be coming up. Obviously, you could also check out fanboysanonymous.com because I do some stuff that's there that isn't on the YouTube channel. We're not just like a YouTube channel kind of thing. 6 Flicks Picks and Fanboys Fix It and, some other things that are like that. What else I started Weekend Geek again. So Weekend Geek is back. That's going to be a thing that I try to do every week and just chime in on my opinions of things on a more regular basis because I hadn't done that in a while, and it's essentially, if you're following like the Smart Cat Moment side of things, it's like the written version of the hot tags, kind of just little bite-sized news stories and my opinions about them. If you want to show your support through a monetary donation, you can do so with either the PayPal donation button or the Patreon account. There's also a thing on YouTube. I don't even know if it's still around anymore, but those are the main two on Patreon, more so than anything else. And you can buy a t-shirt, of course. T-shirts are available on TeePublic and on Redbubble. And the designs keep getting taken down and stuff like that. So if you see something that you like, try to nab it as quickly as possible. And I'm pretty sure that there's actually some kind of a sale going on right now. But if not, whatever. You don't have the spare change to pass my way, totally understand it. Just like the video, leave a comment, subscribe. And that'll help out quite a bit too. Anyway, thanks for watching this, everybody. Thanks for your support. Thanks for listening and all the other kind of stuff that I can thank you for. It's time for me to geek out, everybody. Adios.